alumni against the newbies. We are wrapping up week 6. Let's go ahead and jump on the scales and see how you did last week.
Judy Simpson, 146.2.
Paula, 158.5.
Mary Star, 134.2. Anthony.
Bianca Ibarra, 70.2.
Augusta Lightholm, 171.3.
Heather Ann, 174.4.
Carmen Afia, 176.2.
Stacy, 234.6.
Catherine Sloan, 213.
Trisha, 221.4.
We have some standings after 6 weeks. 6 weeks. In 12th place, down 8.8 pounds, 3.82%, Miss Trisha. In 11th place, down 8.6 pounds, 4.65%, Heather. In 10th, Heather, that is the lowest I've seen you in any season in a long time, since like the very beginning of your season.
Hey, I didn't gain weight.
I was like, I haven't seen Heather that low in the standings in forever. All right. In 10th place, down 9.5 pounds, 5.25%, Adessawa. In 9th place, down 10 pounds, 5.37%, Afia. In 8th place, down 9.1 pounds, 5.42%, Paula. In 7th place, down 10.9 pounds, 6%, Bianca. Our little pregnant mama. Our shrinking mama. Not many people can say that as they're getting further along in pregnancy that they're shrinking. So freaking awesome. In 6th place, down 10.4 pounds, 6.43%, Jennifer. In 5th place, down 16.6 pounds, 7.2%, Catherine. Our other Miss Pregnant Mama, although she didn't start the program pregnant. But all this healthy living, man, is the sperm met the egg. Oh, in 4th place, down 11.3 pounds, 7.76%, Mary Star. In 3rd place, down 23.4 pounds, 7.93%, Jewel. Jewel, man, working her way up every week, just inching up, inching up, inching up. That is what Megan did last season. Megan just inched up and inched up and inched up, and she waited for the people on the top to have a misstep, and she just pounced. She just did it again tonight. She's been hanging out 2nd, 3rd place. She just took over the #1 spot tonight in phase 2. So that's all that to say, Jewel. Like, I see you creeping up there. In 2nd place, down 21 pounds, 8.21%, Stacy. Holding down the 1st place spot, down 15.4 pounds, 9.52%, Judy. Awesome job. The alumni are down a total of 67.7 pounds, 5.38%. The newbies are down a total of 87.3 pounds, 7.76%. We can all find excuses, or we can all find reasons, or we can find results. If you continue, listen, success rolls into other areas, which means when you start having success in your weight loss, because the way you succeed in weight loss, the same principles are the same things you use. It takes self-discipline. That also is what it takes to succeed in marriage. Same thing it takes to succeed in business. Same thing it takes to succeed financially. So if you start having success in one area, you're probably going to see other areas that are going to start also succeeding more. And if you're having more success, do you think life's going to get easier or harder? Busier or less busy? Are there going to be more people pulling on you or less people pulling on you? And if you don't find right now, if you can't figure out right now in the very beginning how to prioritize yourself and your commitments through every single thing life's going to throw at you, friends, that is a test. How many times do you want to go around this mountain? How many of y'all already know you've been tested on your commitment to making your health a priority? How many times have you committed to getting healthy? And how many times have we let other things, reasons, I know they sound good in the moment. No, Carmen, you just don't understand. I had this one thing, or I had this thing, or I had that thing, or I had these people, or those people, or this weather, or that weather, or whatever company, or what. They're all good reasons. They're all good reasons. But there's always going to be good reasons. If you look back, you probably got a track record of good reasons of why you didn't keep your commitment. This is a test. You're going to be tested to see how bad do you want the thing you say you want. Because good health only comes from being committed to your health. But here's the thing. You can't tell a fire, give me heat. I promise I'll put a log in later. You're never going to get results. You're never going to get the results from the work you didn't put in. You've got to put in the work to get the results. And if you want 100% of the results, you've got to put in the freaking work. It's either you take the easy road now. So you have the easy road, you have easy on the front end, and it's going to be hard on the back end. Or you take the hard now for it to be easy on the back end. But make no mistake, there's going to be a hard. It's choose your hard. So people that are overweight, they don't work out, they don't watch what they eat. Some people might view that as easier, right? I don't have a meal plan. I can just eat what I want when I want. I can just do whatever. That might be easy in the moment. But later on, when your overweightness, which is the biggest contributing factor to every disease known to man, has caused all these things, it's going to be hard. But for someone who does the effort, does the work, changes their habits, loses the weight, they're doing the hard work up front. But when they're in their later years in life, life's going to be easier. They're not going to have the same hard. 130-pound Carmen has a much easier motherhood. Like, I'm trying to think how I want to. Life is easier as I age, being smaller, than if I was heavier. Does that make sense? So I put in the hard up front. Life is so much easier now in so many different freaking areas. Like, so pick your hard. Pick where you're going to commit. So a couple weeks ago, you guys chatted with season 6 about life and death being in the power of your tongue. And I want to revisit this for a minute. Because this one right here is, I feel like there's layers to this one. And I feel like this one is so huge. And if the only thing you changed in your life was how you speak and what you speak, your life would be completely radically different. Completely and radically different if the only thing you changed was how you speak and what you speak. And it's so funny because like last week, I thought I'm going to write down some examples because, you know, we all have these people, especially, we all have people in our lives, especially Christians. I hate to say it, we're the worst. And I've totally been there. I ain't judging. I can only speak on this from experience. Is Christians think we're such life speakers. We don't struggle with this. Yes, we do. We're all human beings, which means, yes, we freaking do. And so, here's what I'm going to say on this. It's making sure that the words coming out of your mouth match up with, hear me on this. They don't have to match up with the truth. They have to match up with where you want to go. They've got to match up with the person you want to become. They've got to match up with the life you're fighting to live, the marriage you're fighting to have, the body you're fighting to build, the finances you're fighting to protect, the wealth you're fighting to build, the business you're fighting to grow, the family you're fighting to raise. Because your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. Your brain only knows what you tell it. Your brain only knows what to tell it. Your brain only knows what you tell it. And so you will never surpass the opinion you have of yourself and what you say about yourself. So, for example, this is why, by the way, I don't use the T word, because if I say I'm tired and my truth is I'm tired, how does a tired person show up? How does a tired person show up for their workout? How does a tired person show up for our meeting tonight? A tired person is watching the clock, wondering when I'm going to shut up and get to your question, because that's a sign the call is trending in the right direction. That's what the tired person is thinking. And again, how do I know this? Because I've been there. I've done that, right? And so I don't use the T word because if you are married, how does a tired wife show up? A tired wife is not looking to go have an orgasm. A tired wife is looking to sleep. That's what a tired wife is doing. How does a tired mother show up? Irritable, cranky, don't bother me, I'm busy, I'm tired. How does a tired person at work, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're employed, how does a tired person show up at their job? Tired, freaking tired. And I don't want to show up in any area of my life as tired. But if I say I'm tired, I show up, if that is my truth, I show up as tired. And so when you're talking about life and death, I gotta give myself some room. I get all excited about this stuff. So does me saying I'm tired line up with the woman I want to be, the mom I want to be, the health I want to be, the marriage I want to have, the business I want to build? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And by the way, if I'm tired, who the frick's fault is it that I'm tired? Who didn't prioritize sleep? It's mine. And by saying I'm tired, does it make me any less tired? No. And so when you're looking at your words, okay, so I know some of you guys have had this whole thing of, okay, so Carmen, I know I'm saying the T word and I know you said you don't use it, but what do I say? Because I really feel like I'm tired. So what is the solution to being tired? Tired's the problem. What's the solution to being tired?
Getting sleep, resting your body.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to get some extra rest tonight. I'm really excited about giving my body some extra rest tonight. That's focusing on the solution versus the problem of being tired. The solution is getting more rest. So it looks something like this. Hey, babe, I'm going to go to bed a little earlier tonight. I want to get some extra rest. It's not, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I mean, come on, we all know these people. I know it personally because I've been one of them. I'm exhausted. I just really need to go get some sleep. One is putting ourselves in the victim role of I'm tired. One is, no, I need a solution. The solution is I need to get some more rest. I'm going to choose to go to bed at 10 o'clock tonight and give myself rest. Because let me ask you, those of you, anyone ever been tired before? But then you still stay up too late and you still get less sleep. And then how many of y'all have been tired for way too long? So focusing on the problem doesn't give you the solution. And then we just wind up this tired person. We all know some of those people, right? Some tired people. I don't want to be tired. I want to be energized. I want to show up ready to love my husband, ready to have an orgasm, ready to be a good mother, ready to, be the best version of myself, ready to work out, ready to meet with you guys. Like ready, not tired, ready. So I've got to do my workout. I get to do my workout. I cannot wait to work out. Put on think about your favorite pump up song. Think about it right now. Like when I know that I'm waking up and I know that I haven't slept good and I know that, I got a lot of things to do and I start talking to myself and I start negotiating with myself. I'm pushing my workout back or I'm not working up, not doing my workout. Immediately, I know how to flip my brain. I put on a song that pumps me up. I get my workout clothes on and I immediately flip the script. I immediately flip my perspective. And by the way, if there's other people around, because how many of you guys social situations and other people are really good triggers for you to not do what you're supposed to do? Anybody else besides me? Where social situations and other people are triggers to not work out or to not eat right? Like when people were around or when I was at a conference or at a whatever, I would always, in the beginning, I would always come back and I would be off track. I would have missed workouts, missed eating windows, missed all the things, right? And so it was like, no, Carmen, you've got to get a freaking handle on this. So I would just start putting on whatever song in the moment would pump me up, I would turn it on. And I would keep hitting repeat until I was downstairs and pressing play. Listen, life and death and the power of your tongue, by the way, being positive is a habit, just like being negative is a habit. We have a habit of speaking life or we have a habit of speaking death. So someone give me an example of an area that you've caught yourself speaking death. I'll take one of your examples.
I say all the time that I'm gonna fail, or that we suck. I'm gonna fail. My business is gonna fail. I suck.
So that's like 3. So if someone's saying I suck, let's start with that one. If I'm saying I suck, then that is my truth. And if I believe that I suck, because we believe what we say, and if we say it enough, it becomes truth. It becomes our truth anyway, not the truth, but our truth, our experiential truth. So if I believe that I suck, how does somebody who believes they suck show up? Defeated, like I suck. Like if I suck, there's no way. I don't even expect to win. I don't even expect to succeed because I suck. People that suck don't win. And then when I lose, it reaffirms the fact, see, when it doesn't work out, when I self-sabotage, it reaffirms, see, you suck. You knew this was going to happen. Why did you even get your hopes up? What about, what's the other one you said? You're going to fail. Is that the one you said you're going to fail?
I say that a lot. I'm gonna fail.
Okay. So if I'm going to fail is the words coming out of my mouth. You're going to fail. You're just going to fail. Why get excited? You're just going to fail. If my truth is I'm going to fail or I'm a failure, how do I show up?
Defeated.
Defeated again.
Failure.
I act like I'm a failure, which proves to me that I am a failure. See, you're just a failure. Because our words, this is how powerful our words are. Our words create our thoughts. Our thoughts create our actions. Our actions create our reality. But it all stems from where? It all stems from what whether you're thinking about it or saying it, and life and death and the power of the tongue, that even goes to your thoughts. It doesn't matter whether you say it out loud or to yourself. They're still your words that you replay inside of your brain. What's another one? By the way, what's the opposite of, you got to flip the script, right? So what's the opposite of I'm going to fail?
I will succeed.
I'm going to succeed. The only way I'm going to fail is if I quit. And there ain't no way I'm doing this.
All I do is win, win, win.
That's what I was gonna say. You're gonna win.
When I was fighting against the fluffy girl to get to my weight loss goal, I had never been a size 2 in my life. Didn't know I could be, didn't know I wanted to be, didn't even know my people could come in that size. But it was speaking to the person I wanted to be on 100% faith. See, it takes faith to speak to where you're going. It takes faith to speak into existence the person you want to become. And the only thing that keeps us from doing that is fear of what if I say it and it doesn't happen? What if I say, this is what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to be. Here's what my body's going to look like. Here's what my road rope's going to be. Here's all these things. What if I say it? What if I get it excited? And then what if it doesn't happen? You can choose to walk by fear of repeating the past, fear of the what ifs, or faith. But you can't do both. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve faith and fear at the same time. You've got to pick one. And you've got to go after it with everything you've got. I have thrown a lot at you tonight. What I want to do is I want to give you guys a couple minutes to really talk about any of the things we've talked about tonight. You can pick one, whether it's something you've learned through this process about yourself on any of the fronts, and one area that you're like, hey, I need to improve on this.
I had never heard of the term the depreciation room. I had never heard it called that. So I've been thinking lately a lot about you see what you're looking at. And this is a huge thing for me to learn. I didn't just learn it, but I'd never heard it called that. So if you want to change what you see, you change what you're looking at. And for this process, I didn't do that this week. I was at a conference for 8 or 9 days, and I allowed it to take me out of my commitment to what we're doing. And I mean, I didn't gain any weight this week, but I didn't support the people who were in my group the way I signed up to do. And I kind of felt okay about not doing the things for myself, but not being there for them was not cool. So I wasn't looking at what I could do. I was looking at what I just didn't have the strength and energy and access to do, instead of looking at what I could have done. I mean, I did some of the things. I didn't check into the Marco Polo group very much. And this is my first time doing that. I didn't do that in season 5, and it's my first time doing it in season 7. It's probably because this is my first time being so far out of my normal life, my daily routines. I wasn't at home, and I've traveled before during season 5. I went to San Antonio for a week. And I managed to make that work that time, but this time I didn't, because I was in the depreciation room. I was not looking at which parts I could do. I was not looking at even doing just the bare minimum of checking in. I was just like, I can't do this.
So you were talking about like what are you doing that you need to improve on? One of the things that I realized that I have been in the mindset of is I'm not making progress. And that is kind of a theme in my business and my weight loss and everything, just feeling like I'm not making progress, although I don't say those words anymore of being the overwhelmed or, you know, I'm not saying I'm stuck anymore because I know better, but there's still like that other layer of still acting it out and feeling like looking at my numbers and going, I'm not making progress. But then you can look at the tracking and go, yes, I am. Look how long we've been doing this. I've been making progress, and look where I was last year. So I printed out a picture of me at my highest weight and stuck it on my mirror so that I can look at that and go, okay, that's where I was. I have made a ton of progress, and here's where I'm going. So that's an area that I just will be paying closer attention to make sure that I change even just the thoughts.
100%. How does someone show up who believes they're not making progress? You know, when that's your truth, that's who you show up as.
So it's interesting. I know this is about our weight loss journey. However, the thing that really spoke to me tonight was, and I wrote it down on like 3 different sticky notes because I'm going to put them on all 3 of my monitors. I literally have 3 sticky notes with it on it. But speaking to the person you want them to become. And for me, I think twofold. One is not focused on the person who I was or the person who I am and comparing my progress to that person. Because I think for me, that has caused a lot of self-sabotage because I'm like, oh, well, you know, you're not 230 pounds and you're not in a size 18 anymore, you know, so you're doing well. And so I think speaking and living and striving to be and comparing myself to the person I am becoming versus the person I was. So that really resonated with me. But then what also really resonated with me is as a mother and you're raising your children and you're trying to coach them, and instead of coaching them with negative words, coaching them around and speaking into the person you want them to become. And so that just, I was like, I'm going to text it to my husband. And I've been talking to my husband about life and death being in the power of the tongue. And then we do a really great job of that. But it's those little times when you get really stressed out and you're constantly saying, your room's a mess and you're sloppy and you're not consistent and you're not dedicated. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you're trying to correct their behavior, but it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that hit me like a ton of bricks. And so it's like forcing myself to stop that self-sabotage and talking to myself that way. But as I'm trying to raise my children, speaking life into them and speaking into the person I want them to become. So
you said a lot tonight, but I'm just going to share what's really stuck out to me. I believe this going in this second round as an alumni, it's really highlighted patterns. And one of the things that you said, like, and I'm not going to say it exactly how you said it, but the way you show up in your health journey, like if you're only given it 60%, that's going to show up in the rest of the areas of your life. And I would have to say, I agree. And what I feel is it's almost like if there's like this force against me, I get so far. And then all of a sudden it's like if there's a big rubber band there or a big rope and I trip over it and I go stumbling again. And then I'm getting back up and I'm like, what just happened again? But I do see progress. I do see that I have gone further. And so I believe it was Odessa who was talking about the words that she was believing. And the one is, for me, I'm always going to be this way. And it's always going to be this way. So when I try in business, I shouldn't say, but when I am in business or I am in my weight loss, I get to a certain point, but then that belief, I'm always going to be this way, will get me to self-defeat. And then you had said, you're giving your best of yourself to everyone else. Those two things go hand in hand. I'm giving my best to everybody else. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's always going to be this way. And so, but I'm recognizing that's the trap. And so I'm over here daily trying to like strategize how to get out of this hamster wheel. And there's exhaustion in just that. So, yeah, that's all I got.
For me, I feel like I have really made a lot of stride, leaps and bounds actually, with the whole life and death of the power of the tongue. And I've actually been calling family members out on it. You know, I'll hear them say things and it's like, now tell me something positive, just say something positive. So I've kind of come to a point last week where I realized that I need to figure out how to deal with those people and how I can help them be more positive. But one of the things that I really got convicted on tonight was the contract. And I was actually thinking about this earlier because I had this out reading, but the one about not putting any unplanned cheats into your mouth. And a few weeks ago when I had family here, that is the one thing that I really, really struggle with is social settings. And I caved to a drink that I shouldn't have had. And then I was up 0.8 on the scale. And then this last week, for me, I had a really good week. And just looking back at that, if I wouldn't have effed up last week, where would I be today? And I've heard so many others that have already been through the program. And one that's sticking out to me is Andy. I can remember him saying like, it's not worth it. And it never really sunk in. And I never really had that moment, I guess, where I was falling to that. And when I did fall and gain weight back, it's because I totally was spiraled out of control and in a different place. But now that I'm not in that place anymore, I don't know if this is making sense. You know, that little mistake that I had, it's like, it's really like, now it's making sense. It's just, now it's making sense. That's all I can say. And I know what I did, and I have my planner. This is the first time I've done this, and I've got every week what I should weigh. And I'm not there. And if I wouldn't have effed up 2 weeks ago, maybe I would be. And that's really bugging me. So that's where I'm at.
Well, while you guys were talking, I made some notes, so I'm sorry, maybe it'd take me a second, but I processed things. So weight loss for me is a sign of healing. It's always been. I gained weight, if you don't know, because I got sick. I have an autoimmune disease, and part of keeping me alive was to put me on prednisone for a year while my immune suppression medication kicked in, right? So during that time, I gained 90 pounds, and I was really only able to get 20 off. So hence why years later, I'm still overweight. And so for me, like I said, weight loss for me is just a sign of being healthier again. And I think a lot, what I've noticed through just listening to you tonight, Carmen, and like the program from last season to this season, is I have a lot of like self-hate and a lot of criticisms that I put towards myself. And a lot of that all came up. I wasn't like this before. Before I gained weight, I was very confident. I was very strong. I didn't really care what people said about me. I just was very independent. But through gaining all the weight, I just found that it dug up a lot of things that I would say or hear or think about other people, because I was always the super skinny girl. I used to be called Black Barbie in high school. You know, I was really thin and cute. And so, you know, part of me somewhere deep inside, I think, feels like I deserved this moment to feel this curse because of the way that I treated and thought of other people. And, you know, I think what I've also done is I do self-condemnation, and it's no surprise to anybody that knows me that I do that. My life is uncomfortable. It is stressful. It's hectic. It's a little bit chaotic. And, Yet I feel like I owe everyone something, but I owe myself nothing at the end of the day. I do a lot of self-negotiation and I do a lot of self-punishment. Like that's where my lack of sleep comes from, is that I know that today I have to write 16 quotes. People are waiting on emails from me. I'm letting everybody down. So I now don't deserve to go to sleep tonight, even though I am deserving of sleep. I feel like I have this like cycle of constant criticism, right? That I allow to play in my head. And as I listened to what you were saying tonight, although I don't think it was directed, like you said, towards anybody, I'm sitting here listening to, well, why is she saying this to me? Like my mind's going like, well, why is she saying this to me? Well, like this opportunity I have is a good one, or that doesn't apply to me or whatever. But when I started to do that, today was different because I started feeling this like overwhelming spiritual peace of just like, you're good, like you're on the right track, keep going, go better, but you can do better. Like not like an excuse of like whatever, it wasn't even like a negative, it was just like a piece of like, okay, you're on track, but you can do better, and being okay with that. And so I think what I need to do now is just improve my own perception of my own self-worth. I have to stop I give myself a lot of permission to fail. I tell myself all the time, like I told you, like, oh, well, this is gonna be a really bad shit show day today, but you know what? When we get done with it, we'll hang out, it'll be fine. And I need to stop giving myself an out to fail. I need to stop setting myself up for failure. I need to stop being prepared to fail. I need to only prepare myself to succeed and to excel at the things that I do, because honestly and truthfully, that's what I'm doing every single day. I'm kicking ass, man. Like there's so many good things that have happened in just the last 2 weeks that are amazing in my life. And yet, even in that moment, I'm still setting myself up for disappointment, which is not okay. I need to stop like verbalizing it or portraying it in my actions and putting on this like fake facade that people want to see about I'm strong and confident, but deep down inside, I'm like not feeling that way at all.
Well, there was a lot that hit home today, especially about the marriage. I know I've kind of said it a little bit on the Marcos, but my husband and I are kind of at the same like doorstep, so to speak, that you talked about today, Carmen. We're like separated, you know, sleeping in different rooms, and it's just not the greatest. But I've been thinking about it of like, you know, there is a lot of power in our words, and not necessarily like how it's like subtle, but like how I talk to him or how he talks to me. It's just like, yeah, it could be better. It could be a lot better. Because I think we speak that into existence, and it's like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. Like, I feel like I've given it my all. That's kind of, yeah, I don't know. It just it really related to me, because I was just like, oh, shoot, we do that, don't we? We just, we really talk about like, oh, well, you know, you don't do this or you don't do that, or, you know, you're not committed. You know, I don't know. It's just, there is a lot of power in that. And speaking it to each other, I mean, like your kids learn that. And that's not something that I want for my kids. Like, I don't want them to learn those habits. I don't want them to see that and think that like, that's okay. That's how you're going to treat people. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, because I do have value. And I've been saying this for so long that it's just like, no, I'm not going to be that victim anymore. Not. And that's what I was telling him. I'm just like, I'm not going to be in that mental space anymore. I'm choosing not to be there. I'm choosing to take my power back. So yeah, it was very eye-opening, that conversation, because I'm just like, no, this is not where I'm going to be anymore. I'm going to be who I want to be And I'm going to make those decisions to align with that. So I don't know, very much spoke to me today. A lot of things, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
It really hits home, Carmen, when I just love that this program isn't just about losing weight. It's so much about the whole picture. And a lot of it spoke to me tonight. And, I'm always one to promote. And my big thing is in life, you get what you give. And so if you're going to be negative, you'll get that. Or if you don't think positive or treat people the way you want to be treated, you're going to get that back. But isn't it interesting that so often you get caught, and I loved hearing what you were saying kind of about your whole husband situation, you get caught up in everyday life and, you snap or you say things or you don't treat people always the way you want to be treated. And it's quickly the first people that happens to is the people that are closest to you. And, I heard what you were saying. I thought, wow, I'm here one that loves to promote positivity, but you get so caught up in life that you forget. And I think too, with negativity that you can say it to everybody else, but I don't always believe it when I say it to myself. So you try to stay positive, but yet in your own head, you can be so negative. Just like an example of just working out. And I thought, I'm not going hard enough. I should go harder. I'm not doing this right. I should be doing this right. And there's so much negativity, and you're right. It's the journey of what you're doing and the person you want to be. And if I can turn those just positive thoughts, it will be okay. It'll be good enough. And that's the person that I want to try to build. So it's just so I love that, we get to hear these things from you and think about this and, change the things that were going in the wrong direction to turn them around.
So the couple things the negotiation, especially this last week, really hit home with me. I've been telling myself the last week, I'm going to do the extra 10-minute workout, later when I get home, and that never happens. I'm like, well, then I'll make it up tomorrow. And I didn't have my carbs today, so I'll have this instead. So those kind of negotiations, I really need to nick in the rear. But the positive speaking, I loved what you said about, thinking you're a positive person, but then negatively talking about people. So whether it be myself or other people. So that really resonated with me too.
God Almighty spoke everything into being. So there's power in his words, and we're made in his image. So, and one last thing I do want to say, last week during the, when we told about evil things that had been spoken over us, and then I talked about going through the 12 steps. I took that to heart and I wrote it out. I forgave these people in my heart, and it's not still bothering me. I wrote letters. I went through it completely, but I did find out what got me stuck. And that's a whole nother story, and I can speak on it anytime, but I do have it all written down, and I appreciate you, Carmen, and the biggest transformation it's been looking for.
Tonight was huge with the truth bombs, and it is conviction is, at least what I'm feeling right now, is like this huge presence of I can do better. I'm strong. Like you feel boosted up rather than wow, I have missed the mark. And I really feel that tonight with so many of the topics. But for me, for sure, just I'm constantly saying I'm weak, like in the middle of a workout, before a workout. I'm so weak. I'm out of breath by the time I'm done doing the windmills, and it's like what's coming out of my mouth. And then this is hard. This is hard. Working out is hard. Eating like this is hard. Drinking this water is hard. And hearing Trisha talking about the drink and it's not worth it. And it's like, you know, I'm thinking, what can I replace this is hard with? Because, you know, there's a spot in my brain that's like, well, it is hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So instead of this is hard, this is worth it. And also, what you said about having it be hard on the front end. This is hard on the front end. It's easy, you know, I'd rather it be hard on the front end. And so I'm willing to accept, because another like voice I hear is like, you just can't handle hard things, like, you know, but I know that that's not true. And I feel so convicted to change the way I speak. And yeah, I'm over here ready to find some pump up songs. Like, I'm not much of a music kind of girl, but I'm like, if anyone has any good ones, like, I'm here for suggestions. So, but I know that All I Do Is Win, like, that's already on my Spotify now. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's actually the main one, was the easy road to the hard road. And, you know, the God called me into season 2 because he wanted to get me out of the comfort zone and learn to do the hard and refine me. And then I got to a certain level, and then I'm back again and looking at that depreciation room. You know, I felt that, but here's what I did this week is I spent time with a woman who's winning and doing the hard things, and spending time with Megan and looking at like how she's even fine tuning things that kind of are harder, her window, you know, all these things. And I said, I'm going to do that. And although it was hard, I got really good results this week. And I'm just like, okay, you know, I've been taking a few things easy because it's just easy in the window and some other things. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do a little bit more harder in my life because it's also helping me be a better mom, get better results, felt the best I've felt this week. So that was really, I got convicted earlier, but that's what the one thing that I would share this week, that you said so many great things, but that's where I'm at right now.
So as we are coming into week 7, we are crossing over the halfway mark. And it's really, this is the time where we, you know, it's never a bad time to do self-reflection. It's never a bad time to look ourselves in the mirror and say, am I bringing my best? Am I showing up as the best version of myself? Am I giving 100%? Are there any areas that I can improve? Because that's what a champion does. A champion looks at their film from the fight, at their film from the game, win or lose, whether they have a W or an L, and they say, what did I do good and where can I improve? It's continuing to filter all of your words, all of your thoughts, everything you say through the question of, does this line up with the woman that I am becoming? Or does this line up with the woman that I was? Because to become who we are becoming, we've got to make some changes. We never get changes without making changes. I am so proud of every single one of you on all the hard work that you put in. It is obvious to me sitting here listening to you tonight after 6 weeks. 6 weeks, not one of you is the same. Every single one of you has changed, has evolved, has progressed, has tackled hard things and come out victorious. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do in these next 6 weeks with all the wisdom and the knowledge that you've gained in the past 6 weeks.